Welcome to Mortgage Talk Live by Mortflix Streaming Services. And today we have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about a very special technology for the consumer. And we're going to talk about with his creator. So stay tuned because this is going to be an excellent show today. Hopefully you are watching us streaming in all the Mortflix applications through the United States, like Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, tuning video, tuning all the audio apps, and also in Mortflix Facebook, and also my personal account. I'm Marvin Colon, Chief Content Officer for Mortflix Streaming Services. And stay tuned because we're gonna talk about a very special technology today with a very special guest. Take it away. And welcome back. This is Marvin Colon with Mortflix Streaming Services. And today we have a very special guest with an awesome technology that helps the consumer all throughout United States. We're going to talk about his background. We're going to start with his background, then how he landed with the technology, where he's coming from on the mortgage lending environment industry here in United States. And my guest today is Mr. President of Finlocker, Mr. Brian Vieaux. How you doing, Brian?
Marvin, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate being here.
Finally, I get you on the show. It's been crazy. It's been months. So finally, I got Brian. Brian was supposed to be a guest with me over the summer. Unfortunately, I had to transfer myself to Utah because of a death, the passing away of a family member. And I was trying to do live streaming over there, but with the system, the internet, it was crazy. So now in the studio here in Orlando, Mortflix Streaming Services in Orlando, I'm able to interview Brian. And Brian is the president of Finlocker. And Finlocker is an excellent technology for the customers, for the for just the person that wants to purchase a home or wants to refinance as well, right? Both angles.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to sharing what we're doing here at Finlocker with you and kind of give you a little bit more backdrop.
Awesome. I'm gonna play a control room. Let me know when you're ready. We're gonna play a small video, and it'll show you kind of what Finlocker is, and then we'll go to Brian. Brian is gonna give me a brief history of where he's coming from and where he's landed to Finlocker and where he's gonna go in the next 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. So give me that video for Finlocker, please.
Most people still don't know they can buy a house.
I think in the past there hasn't been a lot of transparency about the processes, and there's just so many steps that are really intimidating.
I hate wasting my money on rent every month. I'd love to, feel like I'm building something or at least putting equity in something that I could, benefit from, either to pull my money out later or to leverage into buying more properties and that kind of thing. But I'm a big fan of building wealth and planning.
It does start making you think like, oh, maybe this is something that I can shoot for. Because then once you start believing it can happen, then you start being able to plan for it.
Learning what the amount of house we could afford, which we didn't even really understand, and going through that process was eye-opening.
Don't make the mistake of not investing in real estate and not purchasing property based on the lifestyle you want to have.
And that's Finlocker. Excellent. And Brian, let's go little by little, step by step. Like I tell all my guests, all the persons that I interview in the industry, Morflix doesn't stop at that wall for real estate agents and mortgage people. It goes beyond that to the regular user, to the consumer. Because I saw the numbers yesterday for Roku, just in Roku. This year they got to 43 million users. So it doesn't stop on the mortgage industry or the real estate industry. It goes beyond, and this is exactly what you're looking for those lenders or those loan officers and those realtors to offer Finlocker. But I want to start from the beginning. I want to start with a little bit of your background so people know who you are, so people know, your history. So give me a brief history of Brian and how you came to be, how you came out to Finlocker, or how did you generate the idea of Finlocker?
So I'll start by saying I didn't generate the idea. I'm not one of the founders of the company and the platform. I came to know of it and figured out a way to get myself here. But before that happened, I spent probably 27 years in mortgage banking. Most of my career was leading large production teams. And most of those teams were in the third-party origination space. So most recently, I spent 8 years with Flagstar Bank and had the honor and pleasure to lead the third-party origination channel for Flagstar. Prior to that, I did similar roles for a couple other national bank platforms. My career started back in the very early 90s with a company here in Michigan called Source One Mortgage. And I ran a couple different production units for Source One. We were ultimately purchased by Citibank in 1999. And I spent the next 4 years with Citibank running the correspondent business for the eastern half of the U.S. And then was recruited to go start a correspondent channel at IndyMac Bank. And for historians, I guess, in the business,
I remember Indy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. IndyMac was unfortunately one of those banks that was not too big to fail, I guess. And so, following IndyMac, I was a consultant working on helping banks and other servicers kind of mitigate some of their their non-performing assets. And then found my way to Aurora Bank, and Aurora Bank was the banking asset of the Lehman Brothers estate. And
I remember them too, way back in the in the good old years.
Yeah. So I was there post meltdown. They were basically building up a mortgage operation to focus on agency business, and that ultimately led me back into the Michigan market, where I went to work for Flagstar, and again spent 8 years there, enjoyed it. Never would have left Flagstar for another lender. It literally was, I believe, is one of the top places to work in mortgage, and for the business, the TPO business, one of the best in that space. But what I got excited about was this little company called Finlocker. So Finlocker was founded a little bit over 4 years ago. The company was focused when they started the business on helping the mortgage processors and underwriters kind of automate and streamline some of the processes for analyzing consumer data, namely asset data. So think about the traditional process to underwrite a loan and analyze a consumer's loan application. You spend a lot of time in bank statements and looking at months and months and months of bank statements. And so technology had evolved to a place where there was a mechanism to link a consumer's bank accounts and extract the data from the account versus having to look at paper bank statements. And so that was where the company started, which was in the digital asset verification space. and really squarely in the middle of a loan process. And this was before day one certainty really took hold. So they evolved the product beyond asset verification to what it is today, which is this holistic consumer financial super app.
And they want certainty. For those that doesn't know, it's a technology for Fannie Mae, where they can electronically verify income. It authorizes certain vendors to verify income, assets automatically, electronically. So the loans, your mortgage loan, when you're applying for a mortgage loan, will go a lot faster than, the verifying via paper and stuff like that. So it'll create a faster transaction with day one certainty. That's through Fannie Mae. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, no, I love it. Good definition. I have to catch myself. I get caught up.
Yeah, yeah. Because remember, this is for the regular average people too. So they, that's fine. That's fine.
So while I was at Flagstar, we were looking at Finlocker and the product, the verification product, and doing a lot of evaluation. I happen to also know two of the three co-founders dating way back to the late 90s, where we did some business together. And I was always interested in what they had built at Finlocker. And so, fast forward, I guess, to late 2018 and early 2019, kind of version 2 of Finlocker was brought to the market. And version 2 was basically going way up the sales funnel, not at the point of application, not inside the mortgage application, but way up the sales funnel to engage with consumers, not just on asset verification, but kind of across their entire financial life. And that really became interesting to me. My colleagues at Flagstar were super interested because it was a different engagement and way to engage consumers, but also get the value and benefit of digital verifications. So I actually invested in the company before I decided I wanted to join the company. And after investing in the company and kind of getting to know the platform and the roadmap, I kind of pivoted in my mind to, beyond investing. I thought I wanted to be part of a new strategy, a new tool that can help consumers under the logo of a lender. And so somehow I convinced the leadership team at Finlocker to let me come on board, and I've been here now. It's almost a year and a half, which is crazy, but super excited to be here, and really excited for the roadmap ahead of us, and really excited to share with you kind of what we've got going on.
Excellent, perfect. No, and the technology looks awesome. Do you happen to have a presentation or something you can punch in on your end? Or a screen?
I wasn't prepared to do that, but we could.
No, this is live. Don't worry about it. This is This is like a friendly. Nobody's watching us. It's you and me here.
On this platform,
so if you have
something, how I can share. But I can. I'm happy to talk you through kind of the what we're doing, how we help consumers, and how we help lenders. If that's good for you.
Yeah, let's talk part by part. Let's talk about the consumer, and then we'll jump into the lender. What is it? And you had some big news that I'll let you talk about it here. But you had some big news about what, a week, 2 weeks ago or so. So yeah, continue. Go ahead and tell me about the consumer. How the average consumer watching us in Morphlix, in all the apps, how can this benefit the consumer?
Perfect. Thank you for that. So from the consumer perspective, I'm sure many folks watching are familiar with some of the consumer-facing financial apps out there, like Mint.com and Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, NerdWallet, et cetera. There's probably 3 or 4, unique financial apps that consumers have on their phones that they use for different purposes. including
Correct.
Zillow for searching for real estate. What we've built at Finlocker is, again, what we call this financial super app. So we combine the features and functionality that you would otherwise have to go and get from 3 or 4 unique apps. We do it all in one app. So consumers from the Finlocker app can access their credit, which includes their credit score, credit report, and real-time credit monitoring and alerts. Consumers are able to enroll their financial accounts, so their bank accounts, their liabilities, whether it's credit cards, auto loans, student loans, if they have a mortgage, their mortgage, etc. And then the locker gives them this single pane of glass view of their entire financial life. And so from that account aggregation dashboard, the locker also empowers and enables the user to monitor their spending, to set spending budgets, to use the tool to set goals for saving. So saving for things like a new car, perhaps saving for college, saving for a new home even. And then, so those are kind of the credit and the financial aspects of the consumer benefit in the locker. We're very deep in helping consumers with home ownership education and mortgage preparation, especially first-time home buyers. So we have a deep library of over 140 plus content and videos focused on home ownership and mortgage readiness. And we've also built a mortgage readiness assessment. This assessment perpetually analyzes the data in a consumer's locker against the standard mortgage guidelines, and gives the user in their locker this kind of transparent view on where they stand with respect to being mortgage ready. Yep.
And talking about the content, is that content obviously behind Finlocker, is exclusive to Finlocker, or that content, that video content and all your resources are behind Finlocker and exclusive to Finlocker?
Correct.
And question.
Yeah. That's a great question. That content is behind the firewall, if you will, of Finlocker. And so I like to say it's inside the consumer's phone, right? It's in the Finlocker app in the phone.
Gotcha.
And so kind of just closing the gap on the benefits, the additional benefits to the user, to the consumer. So, in addition to that education content and that mortgage readiness, which again, especially helps those first-time home buyers on their journey to achieve the dream of home ownership, we also enable users to store important documents in the locker. And we've enabled the ability to share certain folders in that locker. And these folders are kind of configured for a mortgage application. So through the journey to get prepared for home ownership and prepared for a mortgage, consumers are kind of guided through this journey to store important documents in the locker, like pay stubs, tax returns, if they're going to need a letter of explanation, as an example, or any other documents that they would need to give the loan officer at time of origination, they can store those in the locker. And then when they become mortgage ready, right? So maybe it takes them 60 days, 90 days, sometimes 6 months or longer to get ready and be ready for a mortgage. Once they are ready, from their locker, they can start that mortgage application process. And that's where Finlocker aggregates all the data in the locker, which includes the profile data from the consumer's profile that they set up when they open their locker, but also the direct source data that's been aggregated on behalf of the consumer. So that's their credit data, that is their asset account data, and some other direct source data that we're aggregating. And when they share that with their loan officer, the loan officer receives not only those documents that were shared, but they also receive a data set from the consumer. We prepare that data set in the Fannie 3.2 or MISMO data set, so that the loan officer then can use it to pre-fill the mortgage application, the 1003, in their system of record. And then finally, for the consumer, the other benefits are, once they've achieved mortgage readiness, they can actually search for real estate from the locker. We have real estate search in the locker. They can set search criteria based on neighborhood, how much home they the range of price of homes, number of bedrooms, etc. Just like they would do that on a realtor.com or a Zillow site. They can search for those properties, and as they come available based on their criteria, they'll see those in their locker. And then
where are you guys pulling the real estate data from?
so we have several partnerships and integrations with different providers in the industry. For real estate specifically, we partnered with a company called Nest Ready. So Nest Ready is provides the all that MLS data, that real estate search data.
Oh, excellent. Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
go ahead and continue.
thank you. So I kind of gave you high level, various different features and benefits and use cases for a consumer. All of that is enabled or accessible rather for the consumer via desktop or mobile. We are a native mobile app on both iOS and Android. And then just to kind of take it a level up, and I think this will now pivot into the mortgage industry specifically, everything that I just described, all those features and benefits for the consumer is all done under the logo of our client, the mortgage originator. So we are 100% B2B2C.
White label.
Finlocker does not, we do not market directly to consumers. Consumers access Finlocker through our clients who are lenders, banks, credit unions, mortgage servicers, mortgage brokers, financial services companies, real estate agents, et cetera. And so again, we provide our clients, those institutions I just described, with this custom white label financial super app to provide to their customers.
Wow, nice. That's really nice. Yeah, so they won't see any other logos, but your company, their brokerage, the lender, the retail lender or whatever. Yeah. And also for realtors too, right? Real estate agents as well?
Yep. Yeah, we have
so
several
everybody
clients
will have
that are real estate professionals for sure.
Wow. Oh, that's excellent. I would like, to see it one day and also maybe try it out for me and my client. And how is that what's your pricing structure? Is that per consumer, per client, or how do you guys, can they invite how many people? How do you figure that out? How do you structure that out?
Good question. So, I talked about the platform being B2B2C, right? So for the consumer, it's free. There's no charge to the consumer. Now, I suppose our clients could decide if they wanted to charge or not, but we don't have any clients today that charge the consumer. So our clients, the originators, lenders, et cetera, they pay Finlocker a annual subscription fee per locker. And we've got a couple different kind of structures that we deploy depending on if we're dealing with a large enterprise institution like a bank or a large non-bank mortgage company, or if we're dealing with an individual loan officer, at a mortgage broker shop as an example. So on the enterprise level, just kind of, I'll quote the rack rate because that's what you'll see on the website. Our rack rate, if you will, is $25 per year per active locker. So each consumer locker has a subscription fee of $25 per year. And then when the consumer shares or initiates a mortgage application from their locker to their lender, to their loan officer, there's a one-time transaction fee for passing that data and documents over of $75. So that's kind of at the enterprise level, roughly speaking, how the model works. We do have some loan officer license models as well. We're working with several brokers today, and so in that model, there's a monthly license fee. Yeah, it's like $175 a month for the loan officer, and they can have up to 125 active clients in lockers for that license fee. So a couple different models. It really, depends on the situation in terms of who our client is.
No, for everything. I mean, you're getting like 3 or 4 technologies into one package. I mean, that's completely. The way I see it is completely affordable, and very very doable for what the consumer gets, and that will be pretty much a consumer for life. I would think, because you will have with your branding, your logo, excellent technology. So that's the way I see it, Brian.
Yeah, you said consumer for life. So one thing, or one way I like to describe the platform in terms of use cases with our clients, there's two ends of the spectrum, right? There's up the sales funnel, which is before a mortgage application. It's even before a consumer is even thinking about buying a home. And so for clients of ours that are really skilled at attracting and generating leads, especially early sales funnel leads, I'm talking about first-time home buyers that are 6 to 18 months away from being ready to buy a home. There are a lot of folks out there aggregating and attracting leads for that specific customer set. And what they're doing is they're using Finlocker as not the lead generation model, because they've got their own methods and mechanisms to generate leads, but Finlocker becomes the platform that they use to groom and prepare that lead for mortgage readiness. And then it's happening under the logo of that lender, right? So that once that consumer becomes ready, they're already engaged with the logo, they're engaged with the lender through the app, and then they can seamlessly, start their mortgage application. So that's kind of that one end of the continuum. The other end of it is once you close a loan, right? So now that I've closed a loan and I have a customer, the locker is not a one and done transactional, app that they just stop using. There's so many features and benefits that live on beyond a mortgage closing. So it does truly create a customer for life, engaged platform for the lender and originator to stay connected to their customer. No question.
Exactly. Is any way to inside their customer Finlocker to put any communications, newsletters, or anything related to communications on a birthday or something, like maybe like a CRN, but maybe not a CRN, but something where the client can log in and see, well, your anniversary for your rate is about to expire, or your rate, or you're about 2 years in your loan. Do you want to check is anything built into the app that way?
So there's a couple. There's a couple areas specifically that we've configured and that are customizable by our client. So first off, it is a mobile app, or native on iOS and Android, as I mentioned. And so if you think about in-app notifications, and then if you're familiar with any of the personal financial management platforms that are out there, and I rattled off a few at the beginning, most, if not all of them, have some level of in-app notifications that are kind of keeping you up to date on things. So in the case of Finlocker, I'll just kind of pick on a couple of the features. So as it relates to credit, when a consumer's credit score changes up or down, there's an in-app notification to the consumer to advise them that there's a change in their credit, and they're invited to come back in and kind of see what changed. Similar, if they've set up budgets or goals in the locker, there's continual updates on how they're progressing towards their budget or their goal. So there's definitely a level of engagement that's keeping that lender's logo and brand in front of that customer using the locker's in-app notifications.
And one question that I have, talking about all the different apps that you mentioned at the beginning, I see that they have advertising, they have a sponsorship with different companies, the car insurance, I would imagine no mortgage or no real estate, but in that area, do you guys had that as well, or this is just completely off limits?
So that's a great point to bring up. The nature of our platform is, and I'll say it again, it's B to B to C, and that middle B, right? Our client, the lender originator, what's going to be available for that consumer and that equation to see inside the locker is 100% driven by that lender. So you mentioned some of the other apps and the advertising and products that they're marketed to. I mean, here's a good example: Mint.com. You know, if you saw the announcement a few weeks back, Mint.com announced that they're now enabling their users, the consumers that have a Mint, account, to start a refinance with Rocket Mortgage. So,
Yeah.
in the case of Finlocker, if a lender, originator, loan officer, bank, credit union, whatever, has invited customers into their instance of the locker, they're only ever going to see the products and services offered or extended by that particular financial institution. So this is a one-to-one relationship between the consumer in the app and the lender originator who's provided the app. That's a big difference between those other platforms. And we feel it's a huge benefit to the lending industry specifically because we're arming our partners, our clients, the lenders and originators out there with tech and tools that arguably have only been available to the largest of the large institutions.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's excellent to have, and so that lender or that retail lender or loan originator or realtor can just go ahead and obviously brand it with their logo, but they can advertise whatever partnership the lender can advertise their partner, the realtor, and so on. But you won't get advertising from Rocket or or any other company.
That's right.
Excellent, Brian. Brian, and what was the announcement for 2 weeks ago? Week and a half, 2 weeks ago?
Oh yeah,
the big announcement.
we've had a few, but I think the one that you're referencing, Marvin, is we closed our Series A capital raise, which was great, and in one of the investors in particular, we're super excited about. We're excited about all of our investors, honestly, but one in particular that was part of the press release was TransUnion. So we took an investment in from TransUnion, and it's a very strategic relationship. In conjunction with their investment in Finlocker, they also signed a commercial agreement to become a client of Finlocker. So they will be using the Finlocker product for some of their business development and work that they do with consumers, but also with lenders. And one of the things I want to talk about today that we're just really, really excited about, we've had several, probably over a dozen kind of joint meeting sales calls with different folks in the lending industry on this, is the combination of TransUnion and Finlocker as a product to serve mortgage originators. So what does that mean? So, TransUnion and all the bureaus, they have, arguably more information on you and I than we know about ourselves, right? And what TransUnion has developed over time is a very sophisticated model and predictor, through their study of data for years, if not decades, and their algorithms. And so they can predict with some level of accuracy who will be buying a home in the next 6 to 18 months. And from that subset, they could even go a little bit narrower and say, of that population of who's most likely to buy a home in the next 6 to 18 months, which of those are first-time home buyers? And so if you think about this ability to generate leads well up the sales funnel, I said that earlier, focusing on way up the sales funnel. So TransUnion can generate these leads way up the sales funnel, connect those leads with lenders, right? So now lenders, originators can be acquiring leads based on some criteria, whether it's geographic in nature, et cetera. And now they have this population of leads that are highly likely to be purchasing a home for the first time in the next 6 to 18 months. And so the connection point, maybe some of you are putting this together, the connection point with Finlocker is Finlocker becomes the tool that grooms and prepares those leads for mortgage readiness and home ownership. And it's, again, done under the logo branding of the lender. So there's a super cool strategic synergistic relationship between the TransUnion lead generation capabilities and Finlocker's grooming and preparation capabilities. We're super excited about it. We've had, like I said, dozens of calls with prospective clients and current clients, and really excited about bringing this to the market.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, like you say, way up in the sales funnel. Attach that to or include Finlocker, and that loan officer will get a very high quality lead that was already groomed for a couple of months or months. So wow, that is game changer.
Yeah, and if
That is a
you
game
think
changer,
about it,
Brian.
I love it. It's that's what comes to mind for me. And having spent almost 3 decades in mortgage production and mortgage management, and squarely in this business of lead generation, lead conversion, this partnership really is game changing. And let's face it, we're today it's whatever it is, November 6th, 7th, I don't know, and rates
Today is
remain at
the
record lows. Obviously, we're
6th,
going
November 6th.
November 6th. See, there you go. Rates are super low. Refinances are still coming in. More refinance volumes coming in today than our industry has capacity to handle. There's all kinds of crazy projection on what the full year mortgage production will be in 2020. But I think everybody agrees that in 2021, probably mid-year, towards the second half of the year, there's going to be 2 things that occur that change the trajectory of volume in 2021 and beyond. One is any increase in rates is going to slow down the refinance wave, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. But there's also just natural I think about a sponge with water. At some point, you squeeze out all the water that's in the sponge, and we're going to reach a point of saturation where anyone that could refinance will have refinance. And so what will be left, whether it's 6 months from now, 10 months from now, what will be left going forward is really the purchase business. And we all know how competitive that mortgage is. Mortgage is just competitive by nature, but there's a lot of investment that's gone into mortgage. We've seen, a handful of companies go public here in the mortgage industry, and there's talk of a few more going, and so there's a ton of investment going into mortgage. So everyone's going to be focused on that customer, that purchase customer, and I really think the lenders and originators that can figure out how to get to that consumer as early in their journey as possible. Preferably.
That's the one that's gonna win.
That puts them in the best position to win, without a doubt.
Wow. Yeah, that's the future right there. That is the future. Get them here, higher on the sales funnel, and put in, nurture them a little bit through Finlocker, and that loan officer is gonna be happy because they can prepare. The client will be well prepared to, in 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, to purchase that home. And like you said,
right.
That's if you're implementing this now, in the next couple of months, by the end of next year or the beginning of 2022, you're gonna start seeing the rewards.
Exactly right. And we didn't talk a lot about this, and I know it's crazy how fast these conversations go, but we didn't talk about this concept of consumer permission data. But it's similar to where the industry's going, which is getting to the top of the funnel, and being as engaged with consumers at the top of the funnel as you can. In parallel, there's also this movement for consumers to control and use their data to their benefit. And so this concept of consumer permission data is really the backbone of what we've built at Finlocker. So not only are we enabling and empowering that consumer and by extension, the originator that's provided the locker to the consumer with tools to help them prepare. Our platform is also empowering that consumer to use their data, right, their direct source data, as they see fit, and share it with who they, with the loan officer. They remain in control of this, but use it to streamline their ultimate transaction. So we're equally excited about this concept of enabling transactions from a locker and empowering consumers with their data to transact as we are with anything else we're doing.
Gotcha. Definitely. It's very, very exciting, and Brian, definitely, I definitely will talk to you later about see how we can get my little brokerage into it, because it sounds the future. It sounds, if you can get that consumer way up, through possibly TransUnion and nurture that file and nurture that client, that consumer, and get them ready 3-6 months to purchase a home and do their loan. I mean, what referral partner, what realtor wouldn't go crazy if we tell them, listen, we have a fully pre-approved file. We're working on it. Here's the approval letter. Go find them a home. I mean, that's for us B2B, for the realtors, for me mortgage, and for the realtors, that's a game changer. Definitely, your technology is fantastic. And from the same way, if you guys ever want to do the first Mortflix, the first Netflix for the mortgage and real estate industry, you're more than welcome. You're invited to stream your content to us, and I have several content partners already. We can do even a channel. I have several channels to offer, so we can offer that, because I'm very excited of my part of my streaming technology as well. We're streaming on 16 apps. And hopefully next year will be around 20, covering. If I go to the one that I want to cover, I'll be covering about 200 million US users. So
wow,
it's going to be a lot. Right now it's about 110 to 120, but I want to get a couple of more apps next year. It will be around 200 million users.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
and you guys are more than welcome. We can sit down and talk and see if we can get Finlocker to do some video content and get a studio going, or maybe a production, and send me the content, and we'll distribute it to all the apps. We can always talk about that later. But Brian, it's very exciting. Your technology is fantastic. I definitely would like to see it and talk about it and discuss and the possibilities of us partnering Mortflix and Finlocker and work something together. Because video is king, and Mortflix is gonna be the little empire for mortgage and real estate in the industry. So, Brian, last words. What do you see? What do you see yourself in the next 3 to 6 months?
Oh yeah. So I think it all kind of ties in with what we talked about. I think clearly we're the industry is going to continue to deal with the capacity of managing today's pipeline and likely what's going to continue for the next few months. I would be doubling if I was an originator today. I would be doubling down on my future investment to make sure that I'm in the best position possible to serve the first time home buyers. I think that's there. There's a ton of studies out there that have surveyed kind of the Gen Zs and the millennials, and while they expect and want and require technology and a highly technologically enabled relationship, they still value the one-on-one relationship with a person. So they expect to be able to self-serve when they want to be self-served on their phone, but they also want the coaching and advising that they get from a mortgage professional or a real estate professional. And so I think the folks that are kind of forward thinking are bringing the best of both worlds together, bringing technology in with highly educated, consultative professionals to face off with the consumer. And so as I think about our mortgage industry going forward, I still am very bullish on local independent originator. I think there's still a tremendous value they bring to the business model, to the consumer, but it's got to be tech enabled, and so I think that's what you're going to see a lot of continue to evolve here in the near future.
Definitely. And by looking at your tech, Finlocker, is just wow. I'm very, very excited and very impressed with your tech. And it's definitely, for me, it's a game changer. And I know for other partners, other friend loan originators, realtors as well, this is a very, very excited technology. And it's just incredible with the partnership with TransUnion now. The investment on TransUnion on Finlocker, and be able to get that consumer on very, oh my God, this is the super high on the sales funnel. You probably get, first digs on that consumer. It's just incredible, Brian. Brian, I'm very happy for you, my friend.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you having me on here today.
Thank you. Brian from Finlocker, we want to say thank you. Brian, we'll talk to you later, my friend, and we'll continue the conversation between Finlocker and Moreflix. And I wish you the very best, and I know it's going to be a very exciting 2021 for you guys at Finlocker.
Thank you. And I watch with your platform as well.
Thank you. We'll do. We'll be streaming this in the next few hours. You can catch a replay in the next few hours or so. 24/7 on Moreflix streaming services. And Edgar, I want to talk about the contest, the $25,000 value contest for Moreflix. $25,000 contest. That's the value of what we're offering. We're offering, if you create a video, a cinematic video, minimum 1 minute, 1 minute of the cinematic video, we're going to give you a live interview professionally done on location, on your location, anywhere in the United States. We have the capabilities of doing that. We're going to offer you your own channel inside Moreflix streaming services. And also we are going to, and you're going to also do a featured cameo on exclusive Moreflix movie production or series or whatever we decide to do. But you have until January 31st, 2021 to submit your video. Do it through moreflixfilmchallenge.com. moreflixfilmchallenge.com. You can upload your video. People are going to vote for your video and going to pick the best video. So do it. $25,000 in value. So you get an interview on your location, professionally done with a crew. You get your own Moreflix channel, and you get a cameo on a future movie production or series production for Moreflix streaming services. Thank you for Brian. Thank you for everybody that is watching or is going to watch this on the replay on all the apps, Roku, Apple Pay, and 16 apps. Go to moreflixstreaming.com and you can view all the apps there, moreflixstreaming.com. And this was Marvin. Take it on the control room. See you next time on the next broadcast.